Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to explore the source material you provide, finding those really interesting and useful insights.
Yeah, digging deep.
Exactly. And today, we're looking at something that, well, it affects all of us,
Mm.
how we give and receive love.
We've got a couple of interesting sources you sent over. One looks specifically at the 5 love languages and, asks if there's a biblical basis for them.
Right, and the other one talks about love more broadly
Mm.
as a virtue.
So our goal today, using these sources, is to unpack what those 5 love languages actually are
And see if those ideas, well, if they line up with Scripture.
and how Jesus himself might have, modeled these ways of expressing love.
We'll also connect it to that idea of love as a virtue, like a character trait.
And ultimately figure out what this means for you. How can you use this understanding in your own life, in your family, your community?
Okay, let's get into it. It's kind of fascinating, this idea that a modern relationship concept might actually have these, well, ancient roots in biblical examples.
It really is. So that first source, it starts with the basics. Defines the 5 love languages simply as ways people tend to give and receive love.
And the idea is, if you understand someone else's language, you can show love more effectively.
hmm
Fill up their love tank, as the source puts it.
Exactly, because what feels loving to one person might not even register for someone else.
Makes sense. So let's quickly list them based on the source. First up, words of affirmation.
Right. This is about positive, encouraging words. Saying, I love you is good, but this is also about the why. Specific appreciation.
Like telling someone directly what you admire, or maybe leaving a note or even a voice message.
Yes, sincere words that build them up. Then you've got quality time.
And this isn't just being in the same room, right? It's focused attention.
Undivided attention.
Yeah.
No phones, no TV, no chores distracting you.
The source mentions things like walking together, eating together, and actually talking, planning things.
Yeah, just being fully present, making time for that connection daily if possible.
Okay, number 3 is acts of service.
For people with this language, actions really do speak louder. Helping out, easing their load that feels like love.
Practical things, like the source says.
Yeah.
Picking up the kids, vacuuming, running an errand, getting groceries.
Even filling up their gas tank. Little things that show you're thinking of them and want to help.
Got it. Then receiving gifts.
And again, it stresses it's not about the price tag. It's the thought, the effort behind it.
The gift shows you were thinking about them beforehand.
Exactly. A tangible symbol of care. Could be super simple. A flower, a candle they like, a small note.
Okay, and the last one, physical touch.
Pretty straightforward. Holding hands, hugs, a hand on the shoulder, snuggling. That kind of non-sexual physical connection.
And the source highlights it's not just nice, but can be really important for well-being. A direct way to show love.
Definitely. So those are the 5. Now that first source asks the big question, are these biblical?
And the answer it gives is interesting. The term love languages isn't in the Bible, obviously.
No, but the concepts, the underlying ideas, the source argues they are absolutely there and modeled perfectly by Jesus.
This is where it gets really practical, seeing these not just as pop psychology, but as, well, scriptural patterns. Take acts of service.
The source points straight to John 13, Jesus washing the disciples' feet.
Right, and he explicitly says he's doing it as an example for them to follow, serving each other.
Exactly, the master serving them. A profound act of love through service.
What about quality time?
Well, think about Jesus living with his disciples for 3 years, eating, traveling, praying, doing daily life together. That's immense quality time.
Constant presence.
Yeah, and the source also mentions those moments of focus time, like with Peter, James, and John,
Yeah.
and how he sometimes guarded his time, pulling away just to be with them. Mark 9, for instance.
That shows real intentionality. Okay, words of affirmation. How did Jesus model this?
Oh, frequently. Think about what he said about John the Baptist, more than a prophet, no one greater, high praise.
That's powerful affirmation.
Or in Matthew 12, pointing to his disciples and saying, here are my mother and my brothers, redefining family, giving them that belonging.
And the woman who anointed his feet. He didn't just defend her. He affirmed her act would be remembered forever. Mark 14.
Exactly, elevating her act of devotion with his words. Then there's giving gifts.
How does the source connect Jesus to that? His miracles.
Yes, many miracles were gifts meeting deep needs. Feeding the thousands, that was a gift of food.
Healing the blind man, a gift of sight.
Restoring the woman with the issue of blood in Mark 5, a gift of healing and restoration. Even giving her a new status, calling her daughter.
The source also mentions Old Testament examples like God giving children to Hannah or Sarah.
Right. But the ultimate gift highlighted is salvation itself, through his death, the greatest gift imaginable.
And finally, physical touch.
Jesus touched people constantly. He touched those considered unclean. He didn't have to sometimes, but he did.
Compassion through touch. Like taking Simon's mother-in-law by the hand to heal her in Mark 1.
Mm-hmm. And welcoming the children in Mark 10, taking them in his arms, laying hands on them to bless them. Such tenderness.
So seeing it laid out like that, these languages really do seem reflected in his life and ministry.
Deeply reflected. Now, that second source brings in this idea of love as a virtue.
Okay, what does that mean exactly? Love is a virtue.
It means love isn't just a feeling that comes and goes. It's more like a settled character trait, a disposition to act in certain ways.
Ways like?
Selflessly, compassionately, justly, consistently putting the well-being of others first.
Like developing a habit of loving action. It connects to the great commandment, doesn't it? Love God, love neighbor. That's an action, a commitment.
Precisely. It's a call to act. And source 2 mentions kindness, compassion, selflessness, justice, forgiveness, acceptance as ways this virtuous love shows up.
So how do the 5 love languages fit into this idea of virtuous love?
Well, think about what source 1 said. Learning and speaking someone else's love language, especially when it's not your natural one, is sacrificial.
Ah, okay. Because you're choosing their need, their preference, over your own ease or habit.
Exactly. That choice is an act of virtuous love. It's practicing selflessness, prioritizing their good. Just like the definition of virtuous love suggests, it mirrors Christ giving freely.
So using the love languages isn't just about making relationships smoother. It's actually a way to cultivate this deeper, virtuous, Christ-like love.
That's the connection the sources seem to make. And source 2 stresses this isn't just for marriage, but vital for building healthy families and communities too.
Right, applying this outward. Using these languages becomes a practical tool for loving our parents, kids, friends, neighbors, everyone in our community.
Intentionally acting on their love language is a concrete step in practicing that sacrificial love.
So bringing this all back to you, listening, why does this connection matter?
Well, it gives you a really practical framework, the 5 love languages, to actually live out that big biblical call to love sacrificially, like Jesus did.
It helps you understand maybe how you naturally show love, but crucially, how others might need to receive it differently.
Which lets you move beyond just, feeling love to actively demonstrating it in ways that truly connect and build others up.
In your home, your church, your neighborhood.
Yeah. Choosing to act on someone's love language becomes a deliberate act of cultivating virtue, strengthening relationships, and reflecting God's love more effectively.
So we unpacked the 5 love languages, seen how the concepts themselves have deep scriptural roots in Jesus' own actions.
And connected that practical side to the profound idea of love as a settled, sacrificial virtue.
It gives a lot to think about.
Definitely. And here's maybe a final thought for you to take away. If virtuous love is that consistent, selfless action for others' good,
And Jesus showed this through what we now call the love languages.
how might intentionally focusing on practicing the specific love languages of the people around you, your family, your friends, people in your community, how might that actively grow that virtue in you and genuinely transform your relationships and maybe even the community itself?